Saturday from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, WWE presents the Royal Rumble, and it may be, I know we said this last year, but it may be one of the most star-studded and unpredictable WWE Royal Rumbles in history. So let's break this down. Obviously, there is a match on this card with a very emotional connection. You have AJ Styles versus Gunther with AJ Styles' career on the line. And I got to be honest with you, at first, I thought, okay, Gunther taps out on the tights of AJ Styles. The referee does not see it. It leads to a Gunther victory. They're going to do some sort of shenanigans at the Royal Rumble with this match. It's going to lead to a retirement match at WrestleMania between AJ Styles and Gunther. Maybe Gunther takes down AJ Styles, there's a disqualification or there's a double countout finish. Gunther keeps attacking AJ Styles. Gunther enters the Royal Rumble and AJ Styles eliminates him. And that's how we get to WrestleMania 42. AJ Styles, Gunther, with AJ's career once again on the line. However, we have seen AJ Styles put on an absolute banger with Shinsuke Nakamura during its main event. We saw them do AJ Styles and CM Punk, even though there was Finn Balor interference this past Monday night on Raw, and it was a World Heavyweight Championship match. AJ Styles is making clear that he wants to be a World Heavyweight Champion in WWE one more time. I do feel like, in a way, WWE has booked AJ Styles against Shinsuke Nakamura, gave him time. They have booked AJ Styles against CM Punk, gave them time. The same reason why WWE booked John Cena versus CM Punk, John Cena versus Randy Orton, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, John Cena versus AJ Styles to get those old rivalries in because it was John Cena's last year. They are booking this because I believe this is AJ Styles' last match in WWE. I think WWE wants to oversee Gunther as a killer. There are rumors out there that AJ Styles told Shinsuke Nakamura over a year ago that he was going to retire at the January 2026 Royal Rumble, that he actually wanted to retire prior to WrestleMania 42 because he did not want to make WrestleMania all about the phenomenal AJ Styles. AJ felt like it was perfect. You go from the Royal Rumble 2016 and that debut in the Royal Rumble match where Roman Reigns is looking up at the Tron to 10 years later in WWE, a very successful career in WWE. Listen, I followed AJ Styles' career dating all the way back to when we used to watch TNA when I was younger back in the day. Back when they had the Aces and Eights and Sting and Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle. I was a regular watcher every single week on Spike TV, so I remember AJ Styles. I remember him being one of my favorites. And I think, unlike John Cena, who wanted to do a Kobe Bryant-esque retirement tour, which had never been done in wrestling, I think AJ Styles wanted to do something similar but different, which was, let's add these dream matches, but let's not make my retirement all about me. I want to get back to the business. I'm going to put Gunther over on my way out. I start with this match because I do not think it's going to main event this show because I do think some of the intrigue you have with this match is there going to be a ruse, right? I do not think that Gunther um is going to lose this match, but I do think there's a scenario where, there is a no finish and AJ Styles doesn't lose and you don't have AJ Styles retire yet. If this match closes the show, it is almost certain that the phenomenal one will be retiring. Again, my pick is I do think AJ Styles does hang it up. I do not think he's going to go to TNA or to AEW. I do think this is AJ Styles' last match of his WWE career and his professional wrestling career, even if reportedly his contract is up in February. And again, maybe WWE uses some of this contract stuff as a way to appeal to people on Unreal, right? Oh, R-Truth's contract's up. He has to lose. Oh, R-Truth is back. Maybe the fact that AJ Styles' contract up is getting out there on purpose because I believe that WWE, if they want something to leak out, they will let it leak out for intrigue, knowing that this Netflix show is now out there. But to be very careful with where this match is placed on the card. And I say that because You have two Royal Rumble matches, and you have a WWE Championship match. Now, I do think the WWE Championship match between Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn, it's in Saudi. I think Sami Zayn is going to come up short again. But you need to be careful where you place that match because if you plan on Sami Zayn entering the Royal Rumble, then obviously this match has to go before that. AJ Styles and Gunther, and that is indeed AJ Styles' last match, is going to be a very emotional moment. So, in my opinion, I would do the Women's Royal Rumble first. Then I would do Gunther and AJ Styles. Then I would do Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre to get the crowd a little bit back hyped up for Sami Zayn after they watched that emotional Drew McIntyre match. And then I would do the men's Royal Rumble match last. Again, I do think there's a scenario out there where Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre main event the show. I also think there's a scenario out there where um, Gunther and AJ Styles main event the show. I think there's a world out there where you could start the night with the men's Royal Rumble. You could start the night with Drew and Sammy. You could also start the night with the women's Royal Rumble. I already said I do think Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre are gonna have a good match. I think there's gonna be some shenanigans in there. Sami Zayn's gonna make a mistake. Who knows? Maybe even Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu get involved. Maybe Damian Priest gets involved. We've seen he's had a lot of beef with Sami Zayn, and that's how Drew McIntyre will inadvertently retain the undisputed championship. Whether or not WWE wants to go with Sami Zayn entering the Royal Rumble or going for the Elimination Chamber and trying to get another match with Drew McIntyre, I don't think that that's in the cards. I actually think the cards they are playing here is Sami Zayn. He wins in Montreal. Saudi Arabia is another big hometown place for Sami Zayn, if you will. He's going to get a big pop. When he loses, I do think he's going to enter in the number one contender elimination chamber match. I think Sami Zayn's going to lose that match. And I actually think this is where you potentially turn Sami Zayn heel. Sami Zayn has wanted to become a world champion for so long, and when he gets screwed again and again and again and again, like Drew McIntyre had been, that's when you can turn Sami Zayn heel. And I'm not talking about the comedy heel that faced um why am I forgetting Johnny Knoxville, excuse me, at WrestleMania 38. This will be a very serious heel Sami Zayn, one of the most serious Sami Zayns that we have seen in a long time. For the men's Royal Rumble, my pick is going to be Braun Breaker. Now, obviously, there are different scenarios I think you can have here. With Brock Lesnar being in the Royal Rumble, I do think if Gunther retires AJ Styles, that is the WrestleMania match. You can have Brock Lesnar eliminate Gunther. That's how you start the feud going into WrestleMania. I also think there's a world where Gunther beats Brock Lesnar. You run it back at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar says, I can beat you. I'll put my career on the line. That's when you do Gunther Lesnar. And Gunther becomes the career killer again when he retires Brock Lesnar. I think there is a chance where Seth Rollins does come back. He would be my number 30th pick to enter the Rumble. He enters the Rumble. He takes out the Vision. We already know the Vision's in the Rumble. I do think there could be a spot where Finn Balor takes out like an El Grande Americano or even like a Kit Wilson, right? Who comes down to the ring. Maybe Finn Balor attacks him. That's how Finn Balor enters the Rumble. Maybe Dominic Mysterio returns, accidentally eliminates Finn Balor from the Royal Rumble. That's how you kickstart that feud. I don't know what they're going to do with Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns could be in line for an undisputed championship match at WrestleMania, whether that is against Drew McIntyre or Cody Rhodes, or maybe they go in another direction with the Tribal Chief, which right now that is not clear. But my vision here is that Braun Breaker is the last one standing. I think you could do a scenario where he does eliminate Roman Reigns in the final two. He goes on, or even Seth Rollins, and he goes on to win the Royal Rumble. Now, my scenario out there is what if Seth Rollins does not return at the Rumble? What if it's Roman Reigns and Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso who are the ones to take out the Vision? Braun Breaker eliminates Roman Reigns. Maybe it's Braun Breaker and Jey Uso as the final two of this year's Royal Rumble. Then at the Elimination Chamber, as Logan Paul qualifies for the Elimination Chamber. When we get there, Seth Rollins attacks Logan Paul, and there's a scenario where, like Edge in 2009, where he attacked Kofi Kingston, the Vision try to run down to take out Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins locks himself inside the Elimination Chamber pod. He is in the pod. He wins the Elimination Chamber. Here's the other storyline. At the Elimination Chamber, Cody Rhodes does defeat Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu in a triple threat match. Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, they go on to feud at WrestleMania. Now you have Cody Rhodes, the champion. You have Seth Rollins as the number one contender, and you have CM Punk as the world champion. Braun Breaker had not yet declared who he's going to face between the WWE and the World Heavyweight Champion. Seth Rollins declares he's going to face CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. They have unfinished business. Braun Breaker says he also wants to face CM Punk. They have unfinished business, and you get the triple threat. Then on the SmackDown side, I think you just put Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Night two, I've been saying it. I know they're saying plans change. I know they're saying that Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu could be on the table for a WrestleMania triple threat. To me, that is not WrestleMania worthy. What I do think is WrestleMania worthy, and after WrestleMania 41 had a pretty weak card, let's be honest, outside of Rollins, Punk, and Reigns, and Cody and Cena, the main event scene, people did not enjoy WrestleMania 41. I think they need to make WrestleMania 42, with it being in Vegas, different than WrestleMania 41. I think the way you do that is Cody Rhodes takes on Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship. Part three, they each have one victory. OTC one, QB one. I still think it's in the cards. I think that again, Drew McIntyre winning the Undisputed Championship opened up so many more opportunities to do McIntyre Cody, McIntyre Cody Fatu, McIntyre Zayn, McIntyre Reigns, or Cody and Reigns. And that's the option I'm going with. For the woman, there's a lot of thoughts out there that Liv Morgan is going to win the Royal Rumble. We know Raquel Rodriguez is going after Stephanie Valkyrie, but that Liv's going to win. She's going to go after Stephanie Valkyrie. She's going to win the women's world title, and that's what's going to lead to the Judgment Day descent. I do think the Judgment Day breaks down before WrestleMania. My idea for WrestleMania is actually Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio as baby faces. Though maybe they switch this around. Maybe Finn Balor and JD McDonough are the baby faces. Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio are heels. But my idea was you have Finn and JD as heels. They team up with Roxanne Perez as they take on the team of Liv Morgan and Dom, who have now turned face. Dominic Mysterio needs help to take out Finn Balor. He goes to his father, Rey Mysterio. That's a six-person tag team match at WrestleMania. Rey, Dom, and Liv against Roxy, who was the one that Finn Balor put in the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and JD McDonough. You have Raquel Rodriguez as the tweener, trying to decide if she wants to align with her former tag team partner, if you will, in Liv Morgan, or her other tag team partner in Roxanne Perez. That, I think, is the story heading into WrestleMania. On the women's world championship side, I think we have to start with the women's tag team championships. I think that the women's tag team championships have never had a stronger division, and I think it warrants an elimination chamber this year. So I think Rio is going to defend the women's tag team championships inside the elimination chamber against the Kabuki Warriors, Nia Jackson, Last Legend, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and Roxanne Perez, which again will lead to this Judgment Day descent, as well as you know, you have Kiana James and Julia you could throw in there. You have Chelsea Green and Alba Fire you could throw in there. But I think the other team that's going to be in there is Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, who I think will, eventually win the Women's Tag Team Championships and complete this story. So I think that six of these teams are going to be in the Elimination Chamber, and I have Asuka and Kairi Sane getting the championships back. So now that Rhea and Io lose the championship, I don't really care which one you have champion and which one you don't have champion going into WrestleMania, but I think either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky are going to defeat Stephanie Valkyrie. I would guess Rhea Ripley just because I think that's a bigger money match. I think you can do it on Raw. Rhea wins a number one contenders match. She goes on to win the Women's World Championship, and then Io Sky will win a number one contenders tournament. That's how you get to Rhea Ripley as the champion versus Io Sky. A rematch of Evolution at WrestleMania 42. These two tag team partners, they do not turn heel on each other, but Rhea Ripley is looking to get her one-on-one victory back over Io Sky. So, as for the Women's Royal Rumble, again, there's a thought it could be Liv Morgan. I disagree. I actually think that the Raw, again, I think the winner of the Royal Rumble on the men's side goes for the Raw World Championship. On the SmackDown side, then, I think Bianca Belair returns. We have not seen her since she was the special guest referee in the Jade Cargill Naomi No Holds Barred match at Evolution. She wins the title. She comes after a heel Jade Cargill. Excuse me, she wins the Rumble. She comes after a heel Jade Cargill. We finally get Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, the former friends, former tag team champions, one on one for the WWE Women's Championship. Just like Charlotte Flair a year ago, Bianca Belair instantly gets back in the world title picture. Your two women's world championships for WrestleMania 42. Jade Cargill defending against Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley defending against Io Sky. On the men's side, CM Punk defends against Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins in a triple threat match. Cody Rhodes defends the Undisputed Championship against Roman Reigns. That's how I'm booking the top of the card for WrestleMania 42. But you let me know your thoughts on the Royal Rumble. Who do you think are going to be some of the surprises? I think certainly on the women's side, you could have NXT representatives like JC Jane. You could have Lola Vice. You could have um So Ruka. I know obviously you have Jordan Grace now came over from SmackDown. She's going to be in the match. I think from TNA you could have a Nick Nemeth. Obviously Matt Cardona's in there. You could have a lot of different scenarios. I think Y2J makes his return. He eliminates LA Knight, who would also make his return. That would be my guess, and that's how you kick start a Chris Jericho versus LA Knight, which I think would be a very interesting mid-card WrestleMania feud. But what are your thoughts on the Royal Rumble? Let me know down below. Like that clip from the Brands World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brands World podcast right here on YouTube.